a pizza delivery story from when I was 21 years old that taught me a big time lesson about the single mistake that home sellers are making, Jesse, that's costing them, you know what, on average? $36,000.
Ouch. Ooh. And I'm like,
this is the St. George Real Estate Morning Drive.
Money.
Good morning, folks. Jeremy Larkin here, host with my cohort.
Good morning,
Jesse
everybody.
Paul.
Jesse Paul.
And, you know, I told this story this week. If you are not on our list, you're missing out on some serious edutainment, right, Jesse? I told this story. I have a database of clients and friends that get these stories, and I send a couple out a week, where we share some pretty funny and life experiences and life lessons that have taught us a lot about real estate and the mistake that's costing sellers. We're going to get to it, but it's a speed issue. Show is brought to you by our friends at Guild Mortgage, Chantry Abbott, who is just here in the studio. He's like right through the wall right now. He was going to be on the air with us. It's my mistake. We're going to get him on the next time around. But if you want to chat with them, I want you to Google Guild Mortgage, Chantry Abbott, Chantry, St. George, Utah. Good grief! I think we talked to them about 5 clients this week or 4 or something. They have literally helped hundreds of our clients purchase a home.
Yes, sir, they have.
Jesse, so Jeremy Larkin here, by the way, guys. We're with the Larkin Group KW Realty. I'm 21 years old. I'm not now. Okay. I'm 21 years old. I come out of an LDS mission, and I take a job at the Pizza Factory Express. And the Pizza Factory Express, as some of you will remember, used to be...
I forgot that was over there.
There was a building in the corner of Ace Hardware parking lot on Boulevard.
Uh-huh.
And in that building were three stores. Blockbuster Video, Baskin Robbins, and the Pizza Factory Express. I was 21 years old.
I remember that.
Yeah, I mean, it was fantastic. And I come home, and I'm going back to college. I'm having to redo some of the classes that I screwed up because I skied too much the year before I went out. I'm 2 years in the Dominican Republic, and I'm like, I'm back. I'm fresh. I'm like, okay, let's get to work. I take this job, and one of the interesting things about that spot was the pizza delivery drivers did all of the cooking, all of the delivering, and all of the dishes.
Oh, wow. Okay.
So you basically had 2 groups. You had the delivery people, right? And you had the front, the hostesses, typically.
Right. Because at that time, that was also a sit-down restaurant, right?
Yes. And I mean, it was mainly gals up front, and it was mainly guys in the back.
Okay.
And, I've there like some of my buddies, Brian Erdley, Israel Meadows. These are like friends of mine still to this day, right? So we would cook the pizza, deliver it, and do the dishes. And we just kind of did this in rotation. Well, folks might be saying, what does this have to do with real estate? A lot. And I want to prevent you from losing $30,000 or $40,000 or $50,000 today. Do you think most people would want to do that, Jesse?
I think so.
Yeah. Do we have...
Considering most people would actually jump in the river for a $100 bill? I think so.
Correct. It's funny what we won't do to prevent the loss. So,
because we don't... I think the problem isn't that they won't prevent it. Is they don't know it's there, and they don't realize if they even have a glimpse of it, they don't realize how real it is.
Oh, well, we're going to share it today. And so one of the things that would happen is they would give us an additional tip, 10% of the order if it was over $30. Guys, it was 1996. So in 1996, I'm thinking $100 order, $10 delivery fee plus the tip.
Yeah.
Inflation has been crazy since 1996.
Oh, yeah.
At the time when you're 21 years old, a $10 delivery fee on a $100 order plus the tip, which could have been $20, right, was a big deal.
Right.
So
that would be like $100 today.
Yeah. So I take off, and I get ready to leave the store, and I have a delivery. I'm going out Sunset Boulevard, and it was like probably the family special Pizza Factory, which is like the large pizza, the breadsticks, a couple of drinks. I don't know what it was, but I go out Sunset Boulevard. But as I left, I saw coming in to the shoot a big order, like $120 to a business. And I looked at my buddy, and he looked at me. He was driving a red Honda Civic, and I was in a little blue Toyota Camry. And they were not like the Toyota Camrys you have. It was a long time ago.
Oh, yeah.
And we both eyed each other, and we knew that the first guy back was going to get that. So I take off. I go out Sunset, up Bluff, out Sunset. I drop it off. I'm coming back across Sunset, and I'm like, and I mean, the anxiety is just in my body. Guys, you know when you're just like almost giddy and there's nervousness? I'm going to get this thing. And I'm cruising along, and I look ahead of me, ahead about 2 cars in the left lane. I'm in the right lane. There he is. I'm like, oh my gosh. And I come up cruising. And as I'm about to pass him, I reach out, I pull the Pizza Factory magnet off my door, pull it in, and I slouch down on my seat hoping he won't see me. And to this day, listen, I was 21, I'm almost 50. I looked in the rearview mirror and I saw him. And if those who watch this on video or Facebook Live,
you still get that feeling.
Jesse, this is literally what he did. He's driving, he goes like this. Like he did this, and he pointed like, no.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Just like, no way. And now we're racing. Of course we're racing. But within reason, you're not going to go 80 down Bluff. We come down.
Oh, that's good.
At the time, there was not this median before you pulled into Ace Hardware off of. There's a median in the by Neaters.
Back then, there was barely a
He went left and went down 200 north, and then went in north where the Chubby's Burgers joint is, and he went in. I went straight, and then I honestly, Dukes of Hazzard basically jumped into the parking lot down in, and as I slide in, I walked in. And you know how you kind of walk fast, and I looked back with a grin, and I saw him pull up, and he was just smiling, shaking his head.
Oh, man.
And I learned something that Alex Hormozy talks about. Money loves speed. And nowhere is this more true than in what, Jesse?
In real estate.
Yep. Money loves speed.
Yeah.
Do you know a story I've never heard? Let me tell you, that was a fun story, and I hope that anyone who's ever been to the Pizza Factory Express, before you tell us about this, I'm going to have you share the data point today, Jesse.
Okay.
The actual graphic. Jesse, you know a story I've never heard? Hey, our home was on the market for 6 months, and out of the blue, 10 buyers got in a bidding war for it.
Yep.
Sorry. That's not how it works, because buyers will compete and bid up the price of a property that they are afraid of losing. And when does that happen? In what time frame?
First 2 weeks, 2 to 4 weeks.
Period. What is the data?
So the data says in the first 4 weeks, sellers are more than likely to get 100% of their asking price.
If they're priced correctly and being marketed correctly.
Right?
Okay.
After week 4, from week 5 to 8, it drops to 98% of their asking price. After week 9 to 16, 96%. And after 17 weeks or more, sellers on average are getting 94% of their asking price.
And I did a little mathematical equation this morning.
Yeah.
$600,000 home. How much money would they lose?
$36,000.
Can you imagine?
And
right?
Here's where we get confused, because that old saying, right? Money loves speed.
Money loves speed, man.
That we get confused thinking that's speed to market. But in real estate,
does this mean, you mean
right,
like I'm going to hurry and put my home on the market?
The fastest you get to the market, the better off you're going to be.
Uh-huh.
And so that you have more time on the market. So this is where that's actually costly for sellers. Because how often, Jeremy, do we get the call and say, okay, it's Monday, I want this on the market by Friday?
Yeah.
Or better yet, tomorrow.
How often? Very often. And I'm going to tell you what it's driven by. It's driven by fear. And what happened? We should know this after 2,000 clients we've helped move, right? But here's how else I know it. I want you to think, if you're a listener, and Jesse, you can play along since you're also a listener.
Okay.
Mal with Blueform Media, who's here in the studio, she can play along. You know when you're cruising along and suddenly you see the great opportunity, and the great opportunity is like, it's a deal. You find out about a deal at a store. Mm-hmm. You see this crazy discount on a flight or a hotel.
Yep.
Or maybe it's the home you've been dreaming about. This fear comes over your body like, I have to rush and get it because someone else will. Yeah. Sellers actually do this when they suddenly realize it's time to move. And I want to talk about a couple of the actual practical mistakes they make, Jesse, as we get into this. And I'm going to allude to one. One is not having an actual game plan in place I want to talk about the CPO, the cash, the certified pre-owned, not having an actual plan in place for the next home they're going to purchase. Because here's what happens. If you're cruising along, Jesse, you're thinking about moving, you're talking about moving, the house is too big, the house is too small, you hate your neighbors, whatever. I don't know what the reason you're moving.
Yep.
The job transfer comes in, and suddenly, what did the guy in the car, what did he do when he saw me drive by?
Yeah.
It's the, oh my gosh, we found the house, and now you have a problem. Because you need to now sell your home to buy the next home, and you don't have a way out. And what do? What do they tend to do?
You panic and you rush.
Oh my gosh, Jesse, $36,000 on average. This is actual data.
Yep.
We have actual data that's telling us that the average seller that sells their home more than basically 6 months on the market. Well, actually, it's 4 months on the market. Over 4 months on the market, 4.5. Is selling for an average of 6% less. And, I said 600,000 a day. I said 600 because forever we keep saying 5. Sorry. The average home's like 600,000.
Yeah, that's true. Here's, I love that analogy. So what the smart seller would do is actually, once they start thinking, hey, I'm thinking about selling the home, that's when the actual plan should start.
Correct.
That's when the actual conversation with the real estate professional should start. Hey, what do I need to do to get this thing ready? And it's all the little details that they could or should put in first. The decluttering, the deep clean, to make sure all the light bulbs are matching in a soft white. Taking half the furniture out, staging it if it needs to. It's all those little details up front that take time.
Let me tell you a quick story. I'm working with a client right now who's selling a home in northern Utah, actually, and probably not even doing this for another 120, 150 days. And this week they had the handyman in. They did a complete assessment top to bottom. It started with there are 3 bathrooms in the home. 2 toilets were replaced. This was an Ivory home built in the early 2000s.
Right.
Everything was chintzy. So round, short toilets, right? Basically it was like squatting, you know what I mean?
Right.
It was the original squatty potty, which was called a non-elongated, non-comfort height toilet.
Oh man, that's good.
2 toilets were replaced. 2 bedroom doors, I think bedroom closet doors replaced. 6 blinds were replaced. 2 kitchen drawers were the faces were repaired after 17 years of raising a family in a home. You're like, wow, you're 4 or 5 months out. Well, here's the problem. They know they're moving. So you want to know the funniest part about the repairs? The kids had come into the house and saw the drawer in the kitchen was fixed. Every time they'd open the kitchen drawer, it had come off the track and fall. And the daughter walks in and apparently sees it and is like, oh, the drawer's fixed.
Yeah.
In the interim, they actually get to enjoy a comfort height toilet. And they even had this thought, why didn't we do this before? But here's what they're doing. They're going slow to get ready. So when it's time, they're like guns a-blazing, bazookas, missiles, you know what I mean? Like all of the military, like they are selling and they are moving.
And that is the best way to actually get the most money. What most of us do is we rush to go to the market and then think, oh, well, I'm not in a hurry to sell, so I'll wait for the right buyer.
Okay, I'm not in a hurry, by the way, is if you're a home seller and if you're thinking about selling right now, right? Let's say in the next 12 months, I want you to watch that language. It's a defense mechanism. Mm-hmm. I'm not in a hurry. I can actually just translate it.
Go ahead.
This is not sarcastic. I'm not in a hurry. Basically means this. I am terrified. Well, I'm terrified that I'm not going to get what I need to make the next move, and I'm kind of obsessing about it, and I need to put up a front. So I'm going to say, hey, I'm not in a hurry, but I'm actually terrified. Here's the thing. You don't need to be terrified if we can help you through the process way in advance. So guys, let's go back to the data. Jeremy, Larkin here, Jesse, Paul. Larkin Group KW Realty. If you just picked up the show, I told a fantastic pizza delivery story from when I was 21 years old. And the thing I said in the email, if you're not on our list, I want you on our list. You can message us through our gostgeorge.com website and say, hey, I want to be on your list. I said that $35 tip taught me almost everything about I needed to know about selling homes, about speed. But you know what I said? Victory always tastes better than pizza. But here's the point. We are seeing sellers lose on average $36,000, $600,000 home if their home stays on the market more than 4 months.
Mm-hmm.
So Jesse, this is actually kind of fun. We were not going here today, but we're deploying some kind of a really cool program for some of our clients, which is called the CPO program. It's a certified pre-owned program, which is an opportunity if you're a person who is saying, I need to make a move, and I found the home. Let me tell you who this is really great for. This is phenomenal for people moving into assisted living who are going to lose their spot
if they don't get
at the assisted living facility if they don't sell their home quick enough. And they don't know how to completely rehab, touch up, repair their home while they're living in it. This is phenomenal for builders. If you have buyers that want to go to contract on your property, but they need to sell their home first, it's a cash CPO program. And there's actually a couple of options. One is we can always help people sell traditionally, right? Which is, what is traditionally? Just in a nutshell, it is...
You put your home on the market, the open market, the open listed service.
Yeah.
You wait, show it, you wait for an offer, you negotiate the offer, you know, anywhere from, 30 to 60 days.
Yeah. I mean, look, on average, homes are selling in about 60 days in the market. And we're telling you that if you're on the market, honestly, actually more than 30, you're losing money, or more than 60, you're losing more money. If you're on the market more than 4 months, you could lose on average of $36,000.
A lot of money.
This program, but this is kind of fun. It's an option. And we have an investor group that actually purchases your property from you. They do the light rehab. You get to move out. There's some complexity to it. It's pretty cool. But it allows you to make your move with enough cash in hand on the front end to make the purchase. Go under contract with the builder. You're now a non-contingent buyer. The beauty of this program is making you a non-contingent buyer. They're no longer saying, "Hey, Mr. Builder, I'll buy your home, but that's subject to the sale of mine."
You have to wait till I sell mine. Yeah.
So, look, if you're a builder and you have these kind of buyers, we should be chatting about our cash CPO program. And especially if you're like, an assisted care. Another group that could benefit, Jesse, are people who need to make a move for like a job transfer. And they're going, I need to move, but my home isn't sold. And I'm now stretched out, across a ravine, 1 foot on each side. Right. So, reach out to us, guys, gostgeorge.com or Google the Larkin Group, and you can always see if the program is a fit for you. But as we wrap up the show today, that's one option. Right? That is one option.
Yeah.
Jesse, we talked about preparing the home for sale. That is the physical, outward, what do you want to call it? Prep. But talk about pricing. How paradoxical in our final, what do we got in this show today? 4 minutes. What can you, we probably got 6 or 7 minutes. What can you tell our listeners to help them get over this, to get past this kind of pricing block they have? Because the pricing block is, I want to list for more and leave room to negotiate. Which is actually hurting them.
Yeah, historically, what we found is, and I'm going to do that with an example. So I had a home, and it was a really funny layout home, and we priced it where I thought it was a fair price, but the house had so many problems and it was funky that I got an offer and they canceled immediately. And until we actually got to the price where buyers felt that it was a value, we couldn't get even an offer. Yeah. Once we hit that spot, I ended up getting multiple offers, and it drove the price over what I was initially asking for.
Isn't that
wild? So in saving room to negotiate, what we do is we create buyers that come in and nitpick the home. Because if they're trying to justify our price, we've lost.
Yeah, look.
If they're going in wow, this is awesome. What a nice home. Because if we save room for negotiate, they're going, man, is this actually worth it? While they're walking through the home. And their logical brain turns on and they turn on the calculator and every little scratch stands out.
Yeah, it's interesting. If you want to create buyer's remorse, create a situation where buyers feel like they're actually overpaying for property, right?
Yeah, and what's funny is that happens when we make them stretch.
This is so funny. Yesterday, I just returned from northern Utah, right? And I had planned way in advance to ski with my buddy Dan. We skied Alta Ski Resort and snowed 22 and a half inches in 24 hours. It's this phenomenal day.
Wow.
And when we got done, he said, hey, we'd planned ahead. It was great. And fortunately, I was able to kind of keep the home fires burning while I was there, right? Because of the digital world.
Right.
He said, you got to go into Christie Sports in the Snowbird Lodge before you go down the canyon. I said, why? He said, didn't I tell you? I bought a pair of Armada, it's a ski brand, demo skis for $150 with a binding on it. Guys, let me explain skis to you. A brand new pair of skis, brand new, like I'm talking in the plastic retail, is typically $800 to $1,000.
Whoa.
The binding would be $300 to $500. Well, it was a demo ski that Snowbird had rented to wealthy tourists the whole winter.
Oh, wow.
Do you know why he didn't care about all the scratches and nicks on the top coat of the ski? Because it was $150.
Yeah.
Isn't that funny? He was, by the way, I was so bummed out because we left and I didn't pay any. I forgot. I basically forgot. So $150 for a ski setup that would have been, now look, homes don't go this cheap, but $1,200 probably retail on the front end. And look, it had some bumps and nicks and bruises, and the binding had been moved once, so there were some holes in there. Look, we're not telling you to sell a distressed property. What we're saying is,
here's what I'm saying is, the market doesn't care what you need. The market cares what is a good value for your home.
Correct.
Most people look at what it's going to cost them on the other side and place that price on their house.
Yeah.
And it won't work.
Yeah, there's a misalignment in what you need on the back end and what you want on the front end, right?
Yeah, it can't work that way.
So guys, don't make that mistake. It's the mistake that's costing sellers 30 to 50 grand on a higher end property. It's costing them 15 to 25 grand on a cheaper, a less expensive home. Mm-hmm. And you can prevent this by starting earlier and by having someone come in like I did with this home in northern Utah and say, tell me exactly what's going to get me my return. Guys, I can almost guarantee you we can always help you get 5 to 10% more for your home with some of this prep, right? But money loves speed. And the longer you stay on the market, Jesse, what happens?
The less money you'll get.
Yeah, the less money you'll get for your home. If you want to check out our cash CPO program, which it's a fun conversation, we could help you become a non-contingent buyer and make that move, whether it's to assisted living or get under contract with that builder or make that, that move across the state or the country for a job. Jeremy Larkin here, Jesse Paul. Visit us at gostgeorge.com. That is GOST George.com, or Google the Larkin Group with Keller Williams Realty. Over and out.
Thanks for having us.